This is news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business TV Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on the program for today. I'm Fatima Abubakar Origo. The headlines. Tinubu mobilizes global support amid Trump's threats in Northern Elders Defense Area. First Lady charges tech graduates to harness new skills for national growth. Ogun Police launch search for missing FRSC officer and daughter. On the foreign scene, Trump administration slashes flights as historic shutdown strains FAA. Details of the stories and more to come shortly after the break. To stay with us. Welcome back. Now the news in full. In a diplomatic move, President Bola Tinubu has rallied foreign allies in response to recent threats from U.S. President Donald Trump, who accused Nigeria of failing to curb the alleged mass killing of Christians and hinted at possible military action. Speaking at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja, Tinubu reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to defeating terrorism and maintaining national stability. He emphasized ongoing economic reforms and assured the international community of Nigeria's readiness to engage constructively on global concerns. Meanwhile, a coalition of Northern elders has firmly rejected calls by U.S. right-wing lawmakers to ban Sharia law in Nigeria. The group condemned the proposal as an infringement on religious freedom and cultural identity, asserting that Sharia means a vital part of the region's legal and moral framework. Their stance underscores growing domestic resistance to external pressures as Nigeria navigates complex geopolitical tensions while striving to preserve its sovereignty and unity. Meanwhile, Nigeria's First Lady has called on graduates of a government-backed technology empowerment program to put their newly acquired skills to productive use. Speaking at the graduation ceremony in Abuja, she emphasized the importance of innovations and digital literacy in driving national development and job creation. She praised the participants for their dedication and urged them to become catalysts for change in their communities. The First Lady also reaffirmed the administration's commitment to youth empowerment through technology, highlighting ongoing investments in digital infrastructure and training. She encouraged private sector collaboration to expand opportunities for young Nigerians, stressing that the future of the nation depends on a tech-savvy, solution-driven generation. In another development, police authorities in Ogun State have declared a senior officer of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Superintendent Route Commander Fumilayo Oluwamayokun, and her teenage daughter, Shewa Lasisi, missing. According to a statement released by the state's police public relations officer, Omolola Odutola, the duo left their residence in Okimoso, Abeokuta, on Sunday and have not been seen since. Efforts by family and colleagues to reach them have been unsuccessful, prompting a public appeal for assistance. Oluwamayokun, a high-ranking operational officer responsible for route coordination and enforcement, was last seen in her official capacity days before her disappearance. The police have urged anyone with relevant information to come forward as the search intensifies across the state. The incident has sparked concern within the FRSC broader law enforcement community, with calls for swift and coordinated action to ensure their safe return. You're watching news analysis right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Still to come, federal government unveils strategic agricultural reforms to combat food shortage. Details of this headline and more news content after a quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now on to business matters. The federal government has announced a comprehensive strategy to address Nigeria's growing food crisis, unveiling reforms aimed at boosting production, reducing post-harvest losses, and ensuring long-term food security. Speaking in Abuja, Agricultural Minister Abubakar Kyari outlined 5 key initiatives, including the introduction of wet season wheat cultivation, expansion of dry season farming, and enhanced support for farmers through mechanization and access to inputs. In line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the reforms also target a reduction in post-harvest losses estimated at over $10 billion annually by improving storage and distribution infrastructure. The government emphasized that agriculture remains the backbone of the economy and pledged to collaborate with private stakeholders to ensure the sustainability of these efforts. The rollout marks a decisive step towards ending hunger and stabilizing food prices nationwide. On the foreign scene, in a dramatic escalation of the ongoing government shutdown, the Trump administration has ordered a 10% reduction in air traffic across 40 major U.S. airports. The move, announced by the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA), aims to relieve pressure on unpaid air traffic controllers and maintain safety amid severe staffing shortages. The Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy confirmed the cut will begin Friday, with cities like New York and Washington, D.C. expected to be among the hardest hit. Airlines are scrambling to adjust schedules, with thousands of flights facing cancellation or rerouting. FAA Administrator Brian Bedford warned that further reductions may follow if staffing conditions worsen. The shutdown now in its 36th day has already disrupted travel nationwide and sparked bipartisan concern over aviation safety. Meanwhile, a federal judge has ordered the administration to fully fund the SNAP food aid program, adding to mounting legal and political pressure to end the impasse. And now for sport news, let's join Arokoto.
Good day, this is Arokoto reporting from P&B TV. We begin today with the latest from the Europa League, where match day 4 saw significant results that are shaping the league phase standings. Aston Villa secured a solid 2-0 victory over Maccabi Tel Aviv at Villa Park with 2 goals from Ian Martin and Malen. It was a key win that boosts their chances of automatically qualifying for the knockout stages. Meanwhile, Rangers struggled as they suffered a 2-0 defeat to Roma at Ibrox. This marks the 4th consecutive Europa League loss for the Scottish side. Elsewhere, Midtjylland claimed a 3-1 win against Celtics with all 3 goals scored in an 8-minute flurry, and Freiburg earned an impressive 3-1 victory away against Nice. Several matches ended in draws, including a scoreless affair between Nottingham Forest and Sturm Graz. Bologna and SK Brann also finished without a goal. The match between FC Utrecht and FC Porto
is alive. Joining us now via WhatsApp call is our in-house economist, Yushel Aliyu, a seasoned analyst, development expert, and financial strategist who has studied the interplay between economics, governance, and conflicts across Africa. Yushel, welcome once again to our program.
Thank you very much, Fatima.
Okay, let's begin broadly. When we talk about the economy of war, what are we really referring to? How does destruction translate into economic gain?
The war economy is that economy that is facing the production possibility challenge, meaning that when you look at production possibility frontier or production possibility curve, what that is trying to explain in economics is a situation where the resources available to the state is now shift to military production. Not only military production, expenses. So assuming the war or there is no conflict in that economy, that particular resources will be shifted to the production of butter, which represents civilian good. So any economy that is in a war situation or a conflict situation will have its resources shifted to the military aspect. Not only that, war economy is shifting resources. You shift manpower. Instead of shifting qualified manpower to manufacturing sector, you shift them to the war front, you shift them to the war front laboratories where you are producing what is needed for the war. So, in a nutshell, not an encouraging situation to have a war economy based circumstance, but that economy is always being controlled by military aspects.
Okay, globally, the arms industry is booming, worth over $1 trillion. How do major powers use conflict as a tool to sustain their economies?
In fact, not only using, you see, anytime there are warmongers, those people that are in the production line of military equipment, they try as much as possible to launch new designs, new equipment, new hardwares, just an attempt to make large sums of money. And in doing that, they shift the direction and then circulate all the produced items, and in certain areas even maneuver the prices, because it is a booming sector, and once there is crisis, conflict, or war, the cartel always try to siphon the investment of society to their benefit. So, and not all countries in the world are involved in production of such items. Let me give you an instance: the production of nuclear facilities, even if it is not within war period, but it has been used as an avenue for exclusive advantage, and therefore divert a lot of resources in producing what is going to destroy other people's economy. Because in war economy, they target functional industries and destroy them so as to win the war. So obviously it's a very disturbing scenario, and the better we live peacefully in our society, the best for all economics of the world. And because if you are looking for prosperity, you have to invest more in critical infrastructures. But in war period, after producing war equipment, you destroy those critical infrastructures and bring in additional deficit to economies. And that additional deficit is now creating a widening poverty, and that is why we are challenged today with a very serious poverty fundamentals.
Okay, back home in Nigeria, despite heavy defense budget, insecurity remains. Is it fair to say that some people are deliberately benefiting from prolonging this conflict?
Yes, those who are benefiting can either be exogenous or indigenous. There are those that are benefiting within the economy, and there are those that are benefiting outside the economy. But the real players are outside the economy, those who are siphoning and maneuvering prices to the advantage of their selfing gains. And let me tell you, Nigeria, before the advent of IPO, Nigeria before the advent of Boko Haram, Nigeria before the advent of banditry, Nigeria has a better fiscal years, because our resources are channeled to critical infrastructure. But presently, because of these divergent conflicts within different regions of Nigeria, you have our resources moving out, and that also pushes a lot of pressure to our foreign reserve, and that is why our currency is also challenged, because this is a situation where you tax people, you go and buy one Tucano, and the Tucano is destroyed within 24 hours, and you are back to square zero. These are some of the more disturbing scenarios that is affecting world economy, and that is why every time, no matter the amount of taxes that has been raised, you see government going to financial market to borrow money domestically and internationally, and this is why today we find a situation of having a very serious budgetary deficit of over 14 trillion as a perspective.
Okay, let's talk corruption and the black market. How do ransom payments, illegal mining, and arms trafficking feed into this invisible war economy?
We can use some of the survey conducted by Bureau of Statistics in 2024. Over 2.7 trillion was paid as a ransom. Now, imagine 2.7 trillion naira paid as ransom. Well, this shows that the first implication is monetary control, because these ransom are not paid digitally, they are paid physically. So look at the amount of resources that is going to bandits, which is not going to be circulating within the economy. This is a great loss to the economy. And not only that one, where 2.7 trillion is taxed or is being collected, it has destroyed businesses, because you realize a victim will sell his own lifetime savings, his family will also lose their lifetime savings. In some cases, even state funds are being wasted instead to be invested for development purposes. So, but in all ramification, conflict itself is negative to economic growth. War economy that is also supervising and financing controls and establishing efficiency is also negative for many reasons, because
Hello? Mr. Ishao? Okay.
You know,
Yeah, I can hear you.
if you take, are you getting me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I say if you take 2.7 trillion paid as ransom, that shows that the volume of insecurity is going to increase, because they are not using those funds to invest. They are using those monies to procure additional sophisticated weaponry, and that additional weaponry is the implication and the consequences of having them is that we are going to lose life of our professionals. We are going to lose investment of our legitimate individuals, and at the same time also we are losing them to the liquidity cycle in the economy, which is also very dangerous to control of inflation using monetary stabilization measures.
Okay, my last question for you on the program today. What will it take to reverse the trend to make peace, innovation, and productivity as profitable as conflict and chaos?
It's when we develop on human development perspective. We have to put more money in education so that the literate society is a winning society. We also have to invest seriously in our health sector, because the better the health of individuals, the better to have them positive to the economic growth, and at the same time also we have to invest critically in peace initiatives. This peace initiative does not mean you sit with a bandit or criminal gang, but to try and negotiate with societies and invest more so that the society can be feeding the security agencies with the right information, so that any threat that can come out to be a challenge to the world economy is going to be controlled. So, and the wider perspective about this is that we should make sure that we manage our borders so that we can control the influx of any foreign challenge that is adding to the insecurity of our own economic environment.
Thank you so much, Ishel Aliu, our in-house economist. Thank you, as always, for breaking down the money trail behind the madness. Thank you for joining me on the program also.
Thank you, Fati. Thank you.
Well, at the end of the day, your war may be about politics, but it's sustained by profit. Every bullet fired represents someone's balance sheet. Every destroyed city means new reconstruction contracts, and every displaced citizen fills another aid budget somewhere. If peace is to ever be profitable, nations like ours must learn to invest more in production than protection, more in schools than soldiers, more in innovation than intimidation. Because when a war becomes an industry, peace becomes a threat, and that's a cost humanity can no longer afford. This has been our focus today on Politics and Business Television. And may peace, for once, be worth more than conflict. That wraps up today's program, but before we go, the headlines again. Tinubu mobilizes global support amid Trump's threats. Northern elders defend Sharia. First Lady charges tech graduates to harness new skills for national growth. Ogun police launch search for missing FRSC officer and daughter. On the foreign scene, Trump administration slashes flights as historic shutdown strains FAA. For more updates and in-depth analysis, follow Politics and Business TV.English on YouTube and Facebook. Connect with us on Instagram at PMBTV_English and TikTok at PMBTV_ENG. Remember to subscribe and stay informed. For me, Fatima Abubakar Oyibo, it's bye for now.